y'all, hey, this is Coach Nikwa T with some get you in check razzle dazzle motivation today. Y'all may need a full breakfast plus some tea listening to today's episode, honey. Now, how many stubborn people do we got out there today? Raise your hand, go ahead, don't even try to deny it, because I'm one of them too. Forgiveness is one of the hardest practices of growth to attain as a human, especially us stubborn folks. Some of us say we forgive a person that has disrespected our trust or may have hurt us. But do you really mean it? Like, think about it. Do you really actually forgive them for what they have done for you? If your answer is no, have you ever thought about how having an unforgiving heart could affect your future and the generations to come in your family that you create? Some of you probably have not thought about it on a deeper level because you're too focused on the past and how the person has put some type of repeatedly hurt on you or did some type of portrayal on your life. Holding on to grudges is not a good thing to have. And having an unforgiving heart is not good either because it will only put a strain on your life and you as a person and your personal growth. Therefore, this episode is for the daughter who cannot forgive her father for not being in her life. This episode is for the girl in high school that was abused by her boyfriend. This episode is for the woman that was cheated on by her first love. Just let that sink in. Sip your tea. And this episode is for the woman that was raped and does not know how to move on because all she sees is her rapist within every man that tries to get close to her. This episode is for us, y'all. So grab your tea with me because we about to release on Tea Time with Nikwa T.
Another lame excuse. See, I heard it all before. All of your lies, all of your sweet talk. Baby this, baby that. But your lies ain't working now. Now, look who's hurting now. Look who's hurting. I had to shut you down. I had to shut you down.
Good morning, good morning. This is Coach Nikwa T on the beat with your razzle dazzle motivation here today, y'all. The topic of discussion today is stuck in unforgiveness. Yes, we digging deeper today into those hearts, into those minds today because this is a real life issue that a lot of us have and we don't always know how to bring it to the light because we don't feel comfortable, we may feel embarrassed, or we don't have anyone that we entrust that we can talk about on this topic because it reveals so much emotion in us underneath our identity. Let's be honest. Like some of us, we don't like to show emotion all the time. I know that's something I'm dealing with personally. But just to know that I just want to let you know that I'm your sister, in spirit, and that I will help you. We in this together. I'm here to help you to open that gate because I have been there before, and I understand what it feels like to be in a state of mind of unforgiveness and where it can lead you mentally. We are in this together, like I said. So I'm going to give you a breakdown today so we can grasp the understanding and know where the issue may fall in place. So I want to get right into it. I want to basically define what forgiveness is to give you guys the gist of that. Forgiveness is to cease to feel resentment against, to grant relief, or for some type of repayment. In other words, forgiveness is about letting go. The key word in this definition is relief. Relieving yourself is removing yourself from any type of baggage that could hold you bound. Although forgiveness is a choice, forgiveness is a choice that we may have to make and not a feeling. It's not about how we feel about the situation. It's not about none of that. It's basically a choice. It doesn't mean that we have to sweep those emotions under the rug, because at some point you still have to confront how you feel so that you are able to move on. So, just since we was talking about sweeping it under the rug, I wanted to say, put like a difference between sweeping under the rug versus releasing and confronting how you feel. So, sweeping under the rug, that basically means like bearing your emotions on how you feel about certain situations or an event that has taken place. Like you're basically hiding how you feel because you don't want to feel the pain behind it, or you don't want to see nobody, break your little barrier like, she ain't tough, she ain't got it all together. I know, sis, I know. Now, releasing is to set yourself free from restraint, confinement, or servitude. Now, and confronting is basically like you squaring up with what's going on. You're facing up with the challenge. Now, being aware of how you feel and setting yourself free from emotions allows yourself to feel the most important step in the healing process. Because if you don't, you are putting restraint on yourself mentally. Now, as an example, now through the years, I have been a person that held my emotions in. Like I didn't really want to talk about how it was breaking away from my first love and all this stuff, going through that, and how brokenhearted that I was. And I actually went through a whole dark season because I didn't talk to anybody. I went through depression, and I started consuming myself with negativity because I never really got those emotions out. And while being in college, for most of the part when I went through that, I didn't really confine anyone to really speak to on how I felt for so long. Now, I talked to my friends, my roommates and stuff like that on how I felt, but I don't know, it still was kind of weird to actually vent out those emotions. I put a lot of blame on myself a lot. So, therefore, I just swept a lot of my emotions under the rug because I didn't really want nobody to see me feel defeated or hurt. Now, sweeping your emotions under the rug can cause you to be in denial.
Already, you're in denial. Stop being in denial!
It can. And guarded with people that you care about, blaming yourself for events that you have that have occurred in your life, and putting yourself around people and circumstances that you do not need to be involved in, such as relationships that are in constant rotation because you are not allowing yourself to feel and heal. And I know firsthand because I did it. I realized a couple of days ago that I was getting into, at least 2 years apart, I was always in relationships because I needed someone that was around me. Now, the next thing I want to say is you have to forgive yourself. Now, in the process of forgiving someone, we have to forgive ourselves because we can't keep taking pity on ourselves. We have to take the pity off ourselves because of the blame we have embedded in our heads. And if you don't, this accumulates and this can accumulate from not receiving an apology or an explanation of how a person hurt you, and they don't give you the apology right away. And an alternate way that results to this state of mind is by dwelling in your feelings once again for too long, and that can cause you to be depressed, and depression can lead us to thinking entirely that it's your fault. Now, the best way to address our faults is by awareness to our actions, such as thinking, how did I act in this situation? What caused this event to happen? taking accountability for how our actions put us in this predicament. What did I do in this situation that results to an argument, a fight, separation, to happen between us or with anything that we put ourselves into? Because we have to strategize how we will overcome instead of dwelling in our feelings. Once again, you have to put your gloves on, y'all. You got to put your gloves on, sis. Fight against the enemy that is trying to embed on all these thoughts into your head. Now, another thing that you can do is you can list out ways you are bringing blame amongst yourself. Write out the accusations that are running through your mind that are untrue. Like, for example, like, I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. Why? Why is this happening to me? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, you have to write out stuff like that. I kind of exaggerated, but you get the point. Now, the last point is you can't wait on an apology in order to forgive someone. That's a nugget right there. Because that will only delay your growth, and you will find yourself still upset from something that happened about 10 years ago. Because at some point in life, you have to let it go, sis. Now, speaking of delayed apologies, the delayed apology is a part, sometimes it's best that it happens in the forgiveness process. Because when you train your mind to that you have to wait on apology in order to forgive, it shows how much the event still has an effect on you. Let's be real. And in a result, that means your heart is still heavy, you're not properly healed, and you just don't know how to move on. Like, oh, you know what? They ain't even say nothing to me, so I'm not about to forgive them. But let me tell you, true forgiveness does not have any strings attached. It's totally about releasing anything that you think about. Okay, so true forgiveness, it has no strings attached. Total release from anything that we think that we owe, that they think we owe us as punishment. Which I believe some apologies don't take place or delayed, because if we received the apology when we were seeking it, and we wouldn't react on the terms of forgiveness, because we are human. We will react on the terms of revenge, like, oh, you hurt me, right? Okay, so I'm about to go bust the windows out your car. You know, you about to have a whole Jasmine Sullivan moment. No, sis, you can't run like that. So, but instead, when you forgive, it's basically like you're at peace with yourself. You have accepted what has happened, and you can continue to turn to the next page. Now, I'm going to put a little word on y'all. Now, Ephesians 4, verse 32 states that instead, be kind to each other, be tender-hearted, forgive one another just as God through Christ has forgiven you. Now, that's the New Living Translation version for y'all. Now, just to break it down, tender-hearted is easily moved to love, be compassionate. Now, God, he didn't wait on us to, apologize for our sins that we have committed. He initiated forgiveness. So why should we wait? Which one sounds better? Stuck, confused, and angry, or free, at peace, having a sound mind of victory, like, oh yes, sis, I can move on with my life. Yes. So, and I want to say that never sell yourself short on growth for a dream life you wanted to have, but never got because you never allowed yourself to grow. Let that sink in. Just sip your tea once again. Now, in closing, I want to leave you guys with these questions. When you forget, are you supposed to, when you forgive, when you forgive, are you supposed to forget? I'm gonna answer myself. But if a person that hurt you and deceived you confronted you right now, would you forgive them? And what would you say? That's a rip. I got to sip the tea on that one. Now, if you have no response of how you really feel, then, and you can't give them a straight up answer of how you really feel, then you have not allowed yourself to feel nor heal in the process. So that's what I want to leave with you guys today. And one thing that I want to say about the previous question is, when you forgive, do you forget? Now, I don't necessarily think like you will forget. Now, this is just my opinion, but I feel like the emotions behind it that has been put in the past, because you have put yourself in the forefront and chose to forgive. Like, you chose to move on with your life. You chose to close that chapter. So when that person come around you, or whenever you walk into that situation again, it's like you don't feel like any type of revenge. Like, you can be cordial with a person. Doesn't mean you have to be best friends with somebody or put yourself in these predicaments again. You can move on. So that's all I have to say today, because I'm getting into a whole baby sermon. But that is the time we have today on Tea Time with Nick with T. I hope you enjoyed it. Share, like, tell your girlfriends, even your homeboys, whoever. Because, that's how we rolling. That's how we rolling. Hold up. So, that's it, y'all. Toodaloo.
It's always something else working my nerve. God knows that I don't deserve what you put me through, 'cause I've been so